Like a couple Bitcoins. Hold up on my Nakamoto.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the Blockchain Dynamics Show.
Hey, guys.
How's it going, Woody?
Doing good. How are you, Brando?
I'm doing great, man. I've actually had a lot of fun trading this week. I don't know about you.
Oh, it's been awesome, actually.
So let's see. This is, of course, the Blockchain Dynamics Show. We're on a little something called Error by Trial Radio. Check it out. SoundCloud.com/Error by Trial. Today is Saturday, December. Actually, it's Sunday.
It is Sunday.
We pushed the show back for a day because had some stuff come up. But here we are, Sunday morning. Beautiful day.
Yeah. Cold.
Very cold, but clear, I guess.
Yeah, clear finally.
Here we are, episode number 42. I want to thank everyone for joining us. We are, as always, brought to you by Cryptopia. That's www.cryptopia.co.nz.
Yep. Cryptopia is a great website for altcoin enthusiasts. They've got an exchange there as well as a growing community just based around all of that. And you can mine coins there. And also they have Paytopia, which allows you to sort of bundle the different services they offer really easy with and buy them with their native currency dots.
Yep. Dots are, of course, the native currency of Cryptopia. And we happen to have a big old stack of dots that we like to give away to people. All you have to do to get these dots, so easy. Head on down to the Cryptopia forums. Go to the altcoin section. We have our thread stickied up there. And leave us a comment. We really like getting suggestions on coins and stuff to talk about. Just general news or whatever. Come by. Pretty much post anything, and we'll send you 2,500 of those dots.
Yeah, that's right. And while you're at it, you can head over to blockchaindynamics.net and fill out our Wolong Awards form nomination.
Yep.
We'll give you a dot for that, too. Just go over to Cryptopia or give me a shout or whatever and be like, oh, I filled it out. Okay, great. Here are your dots.
Yeah, seriously. We're doing this thing called the Wolong Awards. It's just going to be like our kind of funniest, coolest, most interesting coins of the year type show. And we want your suggestions. So drop on down, blockchaindynamics.net, fill out a form. We've had some great suggestions already.
Yeah. Somebody nominated Cbit for best mining of the year. I like that one.
That is funny.
It was a pretty good mining coin.
We have a soft spot for Cbit because we had that guy. That was like our first interview was with the Cbit developer, and of course the coin is now at 0 Satoshi basically. But great altcoin.
Yep, and it kind of brings us. Oh, and one other thing we wanted to mention was that the best new coin winner for that contest will get on Cryptopia for free. So There's one little incentive to nominate your own coin, perhaps if it's not
really
listed yet. Theme of the week. Don't forget, this is altcoins.
AKA crazy shit is always going to happen.
Yes.
It never stops with altcoins. This week is no exception, and so we're just kind of be laughing about the absurdity of it as we go through the show.
That's right.
We also have, we're very excited to say that we have an interview with the ARK crew. A couple of guys from ARK were kind enough to give us some time to do an interview.
Yeah.
It's obviously a huge upcoming project.
And it's an ICO that just finished up, and so it'll be nice to hear that and learn more about it, right?
Yep, and we're going to have that for you towards kind of the tail end of the show. But first, we are going to jump right into our first segment this week.
The second look.
We're doing a second look. The coin here is called Spectre coin. The reason we are highlighting this coin is because a listener asked us to check it out.
Yep, as usual. Thank you for the suggestions. And this is one that the second thread here kind of slipped by us, it seems like. However, we had taken a look at it the first time it was posted.
Yeah, we always cover the new coins, and we checked out Spectre coin right when it was announced. I think that was about 4 months ago. Was it on show 24 or something?
I can't remember now.
But quite a while ago. And we didn't have too much to say about it at the time. We noted that they did seem to have some kind of high production qualities on the post and stuff.
Yeah, but for the most part, we just thought it looked like two really good-looking pieces of graphics.
So, kind of looking forward to today, we're going to check out and see what the coin is looking like today. They still got some nice graphics.
Yep. It's put together well, formatted, and everything. So that's, not... that's something these days.
Yep. As far as what the coin is kind of built off of, it's a Shadow Cash clone. So they're following down that line. It is definitely playing on the Anon hype.
Definitely.
So kind of, it was announced right when Zcash came out, I guess, or when Zcash was on the horizon.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of that Shadow Cash wallet, so no complaints there from me.
Yep, Shadow Cash it's definitely a good core code base. It gets cloned. It's been cloned in countless altcoins, and this is going to be another one. But it's also an IPO, and so that's where...
I wish it wasn't an ICO.
Because it's like, this isn't a ground-up blockchain. They are just doing a clone from Shadow Cash, and the goal is for them to add futures. But anytime you start with a clone, you kind of, it's kind of makes you wonder what the IPO is for exactly.
Mm-hmm. And so it does put us into a very high-risk, high-reward situation.
Yeah,
as
exactly.
ICOs tend to do.
As far as the coin, the future that they're really going for is they want to do a smartphone app. And the idea is that it's going to be an app that implements all of the Anon functionality of Shadow Cash and kind of all of the big buzzwords that people have been talking about with zero-knowledge proofs.
That's great. Cell phone apps, I still don't have a cryptocurrency one that I really like.
Yeah, that's true.
And I have tried a handful of them.
Yeah, it's just, in some ways, I think a phone's not the best place necessarily to hold a crypto, just because of all the stuff that can happen to a phone. You don't want it to be your only...
Yeah, I mean, I can't exactly say what is wrong with the ones that I've used, but I feel as though I definitely don't want my wallet.dat on my phone, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So usually they're tied to an online wallet system, which has, the advantages and downfalls of that.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about something that wants to do full Anon, it's supposed to be a fully functioning node, and have the master node type functionality and all that stuff, then you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have that wallet.dat on your phone, which, it's a brave new world. Maybe that's kind of the direction that things are going to trend in as phones start to take a bigger and bigger role. But as far as the coin goes, it'll be interesting to see what they can do with it.
That's right. And it will be tradable on BitSquare soon after launch, according to them.
Yep, they've also are using the developer of BitSeti apparently to build this.
Okay.
He's came out with a crypto note Monero type clone a few months ago. I know that coin hasn't really gone anywhere since. But they're also, one thing I did like about this ICO is that they're not really promising the world. They're not like, they have one very specific goal, which is to build this fully functional, essentially Shadow Cash clone coin into a mobile environment.
Right.
And then they're saying essentially the point of the ICO is to raise money for them to do that. And then once that's done, they're essentially going to release the coin. They're not saying,
True.
This is a life project. We're going to do this forever. This is going to be the greatest solution of all time.
And in defense of the ICO, at least they're escrowed.
Yep.
Kind of, I guess the gamble with this one, right, is will it be delivered?
Yeah, exactly. How do they have the capability to deliver on the future? And, ICOs, in general, we've been kind of down on ICOs lately, I think, with good reason. And so you always have to be careful. But this is, as far as ICOs go, at least something that does appear to be tied to a real project.
Agreed.
Not just necessarily a cash grab.
Freaking bonus rounds, man.
Yeah, I always got to have those ICO bonus rounds. I'm not a fan of those.
I'm not really either. But, interesting coin. Second look, Spectre coin.
Yep, that's Spectre coin. Next, we're going to go with some news.
Yeah.
News.
We love that news.
We love the news. We're always trying to get more news.
Yep.
That's why you should stop by our thread and send us some news or tweet at us. What's the Twitter here? @ChainDynamics.
Or if you just go to blockchaindynamics.net, there's a contact page too.
Yeah, a lot of people actually use that. We love it when people contact us with the contact page.
We get a lot of contact through that.
So anyway, news this week. How much Nyan Coin can I put you down for, Woody?
Right along with our theme of the week, which is that this is altcoins. We just wanted to point out that Nyan Coin got bought from 10 to 150 Satoshis on Cryptopia.
Yeah, this just made us chuckle. Nyan Coin is the first officially licensed cryptocurrency.
That was their claim to fame.
They It's got about 330 million supply. It's just it's a script clone. There's nothing special about it. Kind of came out in the shadow of Doge.
Yeah, and the volume there, Bitcoin-wise, is only actually like 4 Bitcoins.
Yep, really small amount.
But certainly there were people with orders up there that had been sitting there for a long time, and they got hit.
Yeah, well, somebody's buying up the book on this. I think it's only on Cryptopia right now. Just on Cryptopia, and somebody has been like just every couple months coming along and buying up the whole order book. And you gotta love it when you see something like that. And I'm curious to see if where else are they going with it. There's like a lot of these old Doge era, kind of 2013 era, 2014 era coins,
right?
That used to be on Cryptsy, and then Cryptsy went down, and now like Cryptopia is like the only place that's left for them. And it's been really fun to watch them, watch them on these low volume markets in kind of the post Cryptsy era and see what's happening to these older kind of funny coins.
Right. The only coin I wasn't able to get off Cryptsy was Ripoff Coin.
Oh man, you lost your Ripoff?
Yeah.
I had a bunch of A-Coin on there, which didn't really go anywhere, but I think that was all I lost on Cryptsy. At least I didn't have any Bitcoin on it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Ditto.
Speaking of Cryptsy, they're back in the news this week.
Oh, really?
Yep. Coinbase is getting sued for helping Cryptsy to liquidate their ill-gotten Bitcoins, essentially.
Right. Basically, the people in this class action lawsuit are asking the question to Coinbase, why did you let Vernon sell those coins?
Yep, they're being held to account for it. This goes to show some of the difficulties that face U.S. and regulated Bitcoin exchanges. Nobody would ever ask OKCoin why they let some random dude sell $8 million in Bitcoin.
Sure. And in regard that definitely is a difference in location, I suppose.
Culture, I guess.
Culture.
You could say.
Laws, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Types of precedent. Obviously, this is new.
Yep.
And so it was almost bound to happen. Obviously, some people lost a lot of money on Cryptsy, and it was no joke.
Yeah.
And so they have every right to kind of figure out what they can do to mitigate their losses.
Yeah, and the statement is essentially saying that Coinbase did not meet their kind of minimum regulatory requirements in kind of evaluating these transactions before they sold the Cryptsy Bitcoins, I guess. I kind of, I have a hard time getting really pissed at Coinbase on this one. They've been under fire a lot, and a lot of it for good reason.
Right.
But it's like, they can't know it. How are they supposed to know?
Well, exactly. And how can you expect them to vet everybody and their Bitcoins, really?
Right. That said, at $8 million, he was probably one of the largest customers.
I think that the way I kind of envision things happening, and there's no, it's not black and white, but there'll be a side sort of like Coinbase that's a very safe exchange at the moment to trade things on, at least. And so it's going to be very regulated. Right. Then you'll see that there'll be more sort of almost dark exchanges where people are still trading Bitcoins.
Yeah.
But it's a little more risky, and I don't know, maybe the price is a little lower or something like that.
Right. I've always felt like Coinbase was safe for my U.S. dollars. And we've always kind of felt like Coinbase necessarily isn't safe for like your personal information and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Because it's a regulated exchange. And I guess we're just really seeing that play out now with these lawsuits and with these compliance requirements and all this stuff coming to the forefront. And I think you make a great point. The question is going to be, to what extent is this going to drive business into some of these other areas? Local Bitcoins, I think, would be the most obvious kind of alternative if you want to be conducting business, with, you could say, a lower profile.
Right.
But also, as part of Bitcoin's adoption, to get mainstream adoption, at least in the U.S. market, the big players are gonna want to be in compliance.
There is actually a government here still.
Yeah, it's a highly effective one for better or worse, and so yeah, I guess it just goes to show the two sides of the Bitcoin world with the, the people trying to really focus on the anonymity element and the kind of the libertarian aspects, I guess you could say, of cryptocurrency, and then people trying to focus on the mainstream financial adoption.
Yeah, and although it's not necessarily shining a positive light on Bitcoin from a certain perspective, I could see, it also is a point where the Bitcoin world crosses over with something as mainstream as the court system.
Yep.
Which doesn't happen every day. And, as I've brought up before, even the threat of Kanye West suing was enough to bring quite a few people into this space.
Yep, ourselves included. We always like to joke that we got into crypto because of Coinye, and it's kind of true because of the news and stuff around it. That kind of reminded us that this was all still going on and led us back into the altcoin scene at the time. So yeah, really interesting bit of news out of Cryptsy and Coinbase there. And these precedents are going to be huge, like the precedents that are getting set legally early on could end up having huge ramifications on kind of the Bitcoin space in America looking forward.
So here we are, the new frontier. In a different piece of news, Overstock.com finally went live with their blockchain-issued shares.
Yeah, this has been a kind of a big, I don't want to say hype, but people have been looking forward to it for a long time.
We heard about it so long ago.
Overstock was one of the first to accept Bitcoins directly. And here they are now, finally going live with their first day of trading.
How'd that go, Brando?
Yeah, they had a whopping $15 worth of shares purchased.
Man, so you probably just should have went with Nyan Coin.
Yep, a little bit higher volume on Nyan Coin than the new Overstock stock trading platform. But that's not necessarily the point. Obviously the idea here is, the new frontier type stuff. They're trying to show, can you do this with can you have a real company that has real shares issued on a blockchain? What's that going to mean going forward?
Right.
And it's not surprising to see people not jumping on this because, it's not like Nyan Coin. It's not like jump on Cryptopia and buy up an order book of something. It's like, oh, wow, we're actually, we're dealing with real stocks. Going back to the regulation, you're going to have actual regulatory compliance demands put on you for utilizing this service. And so it's not surprising really to see. What I thought was funny in this article, there's a CoinDesk article on this, and it says that 55 people purchased a total of 126,000 shares for $15.68. 50 people? That can't be right.
Why not?
That would mean the average person bought 30 cents. They did all the trouble to get the platform set up and did all this stuff and then made a 30-cent trade.
That is awfully surprising.
That seems a little unusual. Maybe some of it was testing or something, who knows? But
yeah. Well, I agree with everything you said, and also it's companies that like Overstock or Newegg and Steam that are accepting Bitcoin that really do start paving the way towards mainstream adoption in the first place.
That is true.
So props.
But that's all kind of single threaded through BitPay right now,
right?
Which kind of like how the U.S. exchange scene is kind of single threaded through Coinbase, and that's kind of alarming people. I wouldn't be surprised to see kind of some similar headlines about BitPay in the future, where maybe some of their business model, I guess, will come into question. And that's all. It'll be part of the fun.
Oh, yeah.
BitPay, usually, I've used it a few times. It works good.
And there'll be alternatives popping up, I bet, quicker than we can even keep track of them. There's so many ways that people use Bitcoin that I am always surprised about.
Well, the original BitPay competitor that I can remember was that Moolah.io.
Oh, yeah, I remember Moolah.
Yep, they were huge in the Dogecoin game.
That was all tied in with the MintPal crap, right?
Oh, yeah, big time. It was the same guy. It was him. It was the Moolah, the guy who started Moolah. Also did, is the guy who bought MintPal, who was revealed to be the huge kind of scammer and general criminal that he was.
Scammer?
Yeah, I know. In crypto? So that's kind of a funny, weird connection. I used Moolah to buy a couple of Domino's gift cards back in the day. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what I regret more, using the moolah or eating Domino's pizza, but
I remember it was even nerve-wracking trying to get the Domino's gift cards.
I had to file a ticket. But I did get the gift cards. I got the gift cards. So yeah, that was kind of a funny altcoin history there. That's going to do it for the news. Like we said earlier, we really like it when people submit news for us to cover.
Yeah, we'd like to get even more into sort of announcing what's happening with particular coins or wallet updates and that type of information, which is a little bit difficult to track down. And so, of course, we'd really appreciate it if a coin that you're interested in is having an update to just let us know.
Yeah, it's really easy to find news about like the Bitcoin space. Not so easy to find news about what's actually going on with alts. And we love that kind of stuff. So,
and remember, you can get dots for just telling us.
Yeah, get some dots, man. Alrighty. We're going to jump into the markets next. Love the markets.
Right at the top of our list, because we really do like Zcash, is that it's still sliding.
Yep. Where's the floor? Everybody's wondering. We found some new lows once again this week. We're below 0.05.
All right, here we are.
People are catching knives.
Yep.
They're getting cut to bits. But everyone's just kind of wondering, how's the value going to shake out on this thing? So few coins mined. It's just crazy. I really still feel like the market is just having such a hard time dealing with the slow distribution of Zcash that, like, there's like nobody has the ability to price in the future price. There's so much uncertainty. It's really fun.
Well, I mean, it kind of relates to part of the amazing thing about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies in general and the energy related to producing them proof of work wise is people really don't reveal the bottom line as far as I know. Like, how cheap really is the cheapest Bitcoin getting mined for? I'm not aware of that.
Right, of course.
And I imagine with Zcash, it's the same thing. It's both based on the cost of electricity and the mining software itself.
Right. Now this is interesting. As far as the public software, Zcash kind of hit parity in mining with Ethereum this week, which means that, if you're a GPU miner using whatever's out there that you can find, you're going to make about the same mining Zcash as you would mining ETH.
Okay.
ETH, of course, way down in its mining profitability too, but what that tells you is that the general miner has hit the floor. They're mining at cost right now. And so, they're not mining at cost, but they're mining at market rate, which means that's usually a huge indicator as far as looking for the stop of the slide. Anytime that you have a mining price that is in front of the general market, you're going to have people essentially doing arbitrage of that mining price against the market price.
Yeah.
And they will come to parity eventually. Either the number of miners will go up or the price will go down. We've seen both on Zcash, and it's hit that point of parity, so that's exciting.
How do you make a decision when to just turn off your miners? Like, personally, do you how long would you have to be mining underwater before you just turned it off?
I ran my Bitcoin A6. I pretty much stopped mining once they hit the power cost.
Just at that point, yeah.
Yeah, at that point I stopped mining Bitcoin, and then I would still use them. I'd fire them up for alt launches and stuff for probably 6 months after that. But since then, now, of course, with the new miners, I just use NiceHash at this point.
Yeah. I mean, NiceHash is often cheaper than the hash I'm producing.
Right. But as far as my GPU miner, I'm still just using it to mine Ethereum. I'm kind of wishing that I had installed Windows on it. I'm having a hard time. There's not as good of supported mining software on Ubuntu, at least, and drivers compared to what's on Windows. So for a lot of coins, like especially Pascal's one, but there have been a few recently, I've been kind of wishing, Zcash too, where I've been wishing that I had gone with Windows. So I'm kind of too lazy to change course at this point, but I probably should try and install Windows on there.
Well, in the long range, there's always plenty of time, too.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
So Zcash still sliding. We kind of have been joking for like months that we did some napkin math like right after Zcash came out, and we're like, this is going to dump to 0.01. It was based on like the rewards and some other stupid.
Yeah, and I felt more skeptical for a while, and then I was like, at this point, I really just don't know. I'm not claiming to know, but I could still see it happening.
We're waiting for the traders call it capitulation, where just like the market dumps beyond, the point of despair. People give up, and everyone's kind of waiting for that huge candle where it's been dumping like 10%.
We've had
5%.
Tiny ones like every week. It's like, okay, well, we're going down again. Okay, down again.
Exactly, and so everyone's waiting for it to just dump kind of beyond what anyone thought it ever could. And I don't know, man. It's that 0.01 floor is starting to seem more and more real, more possible, I guess.
Jeez, the problem is though, if it gets that low, I'm going to be terrified to buy it.
Yeah, that's the whole point. I think that's kind of the idea of the idea of capitulation in the market is that it's reached such a disastrous trajectory that even people who kind of know it's cheaper than it should be are going to be afraid to buy it. And, that's also when they turn around. That's when you can find a real floor. But with Zcash, I think at this point, most people are going to say, just stay out. Let it happen. Don't try to be the guy to catch the bottom. I plan on ignoring all that advice. And I'm sure at some point in the future, I'm going to be like, this is the bottom for sure.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I bought some at one point, such a small amount. I bought one Zcash. I was going to start accumulating it, and then it just kept going, and I had to sell it.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be clever and catch one of the spikes at 0.07, and I ended up selling out at like 0.062. So not a huge loss, but it was like kind of a reminder that we're not there yet.
It just feels though, still to me, and this is where I'd love to speculate, is like it's just such a high-profile project that.
Yeah.
The idea that it would just go down perpetually would be amazing.
Yeah, but this is a high price, man. You go to Poloniex and sort by price, it's probably still like the highest one up there, basically, besides Sync.
Well, exactly. And remember where it started out?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. People were paying multiple
forget?
Bitcoins for little pieces of Zcash.
Yeah, that goes back to what we were saying about...
I even chucked my one computer on there. It was profitable enough at that point.
Yeah, that goes back to like what we were saying about people not appreciating how slow the distribution is and being caught off guard. People are used to these ICOs. They're used to coins that distribute. They're used to coins that by the time they get on Poloniex, they're 90 to 100% of the supply is distributed. So when you get a coin like Zcash that hits Poloniex with 0.0001% of the supply distributed, people just don't know how to react. And that's really obvious with Zcash. Fun stuff,
really.
Otherwise, markets have been interesting this week. A lot of coins going in all the directions. A lot of big dumps, but also a lot of kind of surprising pumps, I think.
Right, I agree. It wasn't. We've seen some weeks where everything was down.
Yep.
We're at least not feeling that right now.
Yep. No, I agree. There's some bright spots out there, and there's even with Bitcoin being up this week, I still think there's some bright spots.
Yeah, well, we're seeing Bitcoin up about 2.5%.
Yep,
with Ethereum down 4%.
Yeah, so those are interesting numbers. Ethereum, there was a glimmer of hope last week for Ethereum. This week it kind of returns to desperation, down another 4%. These are huge losses. Like you can't, relative to altcoins, minus 4% might not be too bad, but for a chain the size of Ethereum, the market the size of Ethereum, to just be eating a 4% loss week after week after week, we've seen what's happened. It's been a huge decline. And then of course Bitcoin up 2.5% this week, and it just keeps testing these 2-year, 3-year highs, and it's kind of
it's exciting, honestly.
It's exciting, but it's like it's nerve-wracking in a way because everyone's expecting this breakout over 800, and then sky's the limit.
Yeah,
and it's just like
but people could curb their expectations just a little bit. Like what if we just chill out at 800, 900 for 6 months? Why not? Why does it always have to be a dramatic move?
Right. For me, that would be the dream scenario. I think everyone would love it if it did that. But I think the reason that people are looking for the dramatic move is that's what happens usually, right?
Right.
Like if you go back on the chart to, this pump started, I think, late 2015 really was the floor. Maybe the middle of 2015 was the floor. If you look at how this started, most of the spikes were really rapid, and they have that exponential growth nature, we went from the low to up over 300 in about 6 weeks, and it kept accelerating in terms of how it was pumping. Then we kind of got into that area where we settled around 450 for like a few months, like 6 months. And then it shot from like 450 to 800 in like a month, basically, or 2 months. Just this huge spike,
Right.
And that's what we've kind of been conditioned to get used to. This latest climb has been like a flat, I don't want to say slow because it's still a pretty damn fast growth rate, all things considered, but it's been like a linear upwards trend with a few breaks in it, a few ups and downs, a few swings. But in the long cycle, it's been mostly just a linear upward trend. And I think we're all used to that parabolic swing. We're kind of all expecting it to do that thing where it just jumps pointlessly like 20% and then dumps another 20%.
Right.
And we haven't seen it yet. And so everyone, it's just kind of, it gives you that anxiety because you know that huge doom and gloom candle or that huge breakout candle could be like just around the corner. It's just an unusual pattern, I think, for a lot of people.
Right. Well, and as always, we're just kind of on the edge.
Yep, and we don't have even a fraction of the facts. Obviously, only the crazy person with the Bitcoin, this bot that's buying millions of Bitcoins or whatever, is going to really know what's happening. As far as how altcoins are doing this week, we did mention ETH is down 4%. Looking at the top 97 altcoins, so kind of a broader picture, we have 44 coins that are down this week, 53 coins that are up versus the US dollar. So that is a reversal from what we've been seeing. For the past 2 months, it's been basically just down, down, down.
You said actually 8 weeks, right? Full
Yep.
8 weeks?
Yep, we've had basically an 8-week downtrend on alts. This week, we do have more coins up than down. Very unusual. But that's comparing to the US dollar. If we compare it to Bitcoin, we still see 54 coins down versus 43 that are up. So alts still sliding versus Bitcoin.
Right.
But whereas
Bitcoin's dragging them up a little bit.
Exactly. Yep. Dragging up the market caps. We're not seeing... We've been seeing the past few weeks, like Bitcoin goes up and alts just tank. Like major losses. Now we're seeing it start to drag alts up. Could potentially be a sign of a floor for altcoins. But definitely too early to tell.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
Looking at the kind of the median change. So the median altcoin in the top 97 here changed 0.8% versus USD. So just a small gain there. Lost about 1.65% versus Bitcoin. So that kind of confirms the trend with the bigger numbers. As far as the overall numbers, altcoins actually lost about $6.4 million this week in value. That's down 0.37%.
Right.
But that's mostly headed up by Ethereum.
Of course.
As always.
As it has been.
Yep. If you actually take out Ethereum, you see that alts gained 22 million, about 2%.
Okay.
So now it starts to get a little more interesting. We're seeing Ethereum take a smaller share of the altcoin market and potentially maybe opening up some space for some other alts to maybe challenge it.
Because don't forget, it's altcoins.
Altcoins, man. Anything can happen. But yeah, if you go back the past couple months, alts are still just way, way down.
Right. Over the 8 weeks, we're looking at about a 20.5% loss on alts relative to USD. And that's still down 33.8% relative to Bitcoin.
Yeah, crazy to think. Altcoin market's down, lost almost a third of their value against Bitcoin in this latest surge. Overall, that's going back 2 months.
Yep.
As far as the individual gainers and losers this week,
DubaiCoin up 95%. Ooh. SwisCoin up 67%. Factom seeing a sweet 36% gain. And SolarCoin up 34%.
Big pumps this week. Bigger pumps than we've been seeing. That's always another good sign. DubaiCoin's probably, that's a pretty funny one. I think
that's pretty cool. Yeah, that was near the beginning of this show when DubaiCoin came out. And so obviously we noticed when its value rose significantly.
Yep, DubaiCoin came out. It seems like so long ago when coins came out that were actually worth a damn. DubaiCoin was one of them. It came out. It's easy to criticize DubaiCoin because it's just kind of a Yobit pump coin. But this coin came out, no pre-mine. Proof of work coin that anybody could mine, anybody can get in on. And a lot of people did. I know I mined a bunch of it. I sold it at like 2,000 Satoshi, but everyone had a chance to get in on DubaiCoin, so that's kind of like...
Yeah, we love that. That's the whole fun of that. There's a really good argument to be made for those types of altcoins and just the whole way that you can build an interesting economy around altcoin markets that, I mean, I don't care that there's unfair ones out there, but I sure like the no pre-mine ones a little better. Like you said, everybody got a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, not too surprising of a list. Factom doing well this week. That's always cool. And SolarCoin we mentioned.
Yeah, what was that? Was that a birthday or a random coin?
I don't
One or
remember.
the other or something. Over on the loser side, we still see Senor Zcash making a plunge, 25%. BitCrystals down 22%. Hacker Gold down 19%. And Blocknet down 18%.
Yeah, a rough week for those top three are all Poloniex, or Zcash, BitCrystals, and Blocknet. That's all Poloniex coins. So a rough week for those. Usually,
Hacker Gold, really? That's a Poloniex coin?
No, sorry, I messed up.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh man, because I remember the name of that one, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, that one launched on the show. It's probably kind of a fake supply coin,
but with the exception of that, I think you're correct. Zcash, BitCrystals, and Blocknet.
Usually the biggest like swings, biggest gains, biggest losses are not like they're low market cap coins or kind of low liquidity coins. So it's pretty unusual to see 3 of these 4 losers being Polo coins.
Right.
But, that's the game. That's altcoins for you.
It's altcoins. Don't forget.
So that is going to do it for our look at the markets this week.
Yeah, and so we like to do a segment called our Random Coin Spotlight, where we roll a random number and then try to take a little bit of a look at that coin on CoinMarketCap.
Yep, what better way to pick out a coin without any bias than just roll a random number and look at it.
Up first, PeerCoin.
PeerCoin, this is number 26 on CoinMarketCap.
PeerCoin has been on the show before for its 4-year birthday.
Yeah, this thing's
back
like...
in October sometime.
Yeah, it's over 4 years old now, obviously.
Still active.
Still got a huge-ass market cap, sitting at number 26, man. That's pretty damn good.
Yep. Interestingly, market-wise, it seems to have kind of avoided the alt frenzy of midsummer.
Yeah, really unusual. I strongly encourage you to look up PeerCoin and check out the 1-year chart, because it is it's hilarious. It looks like it's as though 2016 never happened. It's just like a very slow kind of a gradual decline, basically. Really funny to see. It's one of those coins that I think when everyone remembers when every coin on Polo was pumping, and everyone's like, you got to buy it. If it's on Polo, just buy it. Look for a coin that's low and buy it. And you did that with PeerCoin, right?
I did, yeah. I bought some PeerCoin. I probably, when it had its birthday, would be my guess, because I've had fun for a while buying like the birthday coins.
Yeah.
And then that one I ended up selling because it just kept going down.
Yeah, it just kept sliding. It looked like it was going to flatten out around 50K, 50,000 sat. But then this latest that was before this rough period set in for alts, where basically everything has gone down. PeerCoin is not an exception there. Dropped from about 50,000 4 or 5 months ago to just 29,000 Satoshi today. Little rough. But there's some cool stuff out there about PeerCoin. The first thing, this was like the first proof of stake coin.
Yeah, I don't think we're mistaken about that. Nobody's corrected us yet in saying it. And when I look at their white paper, he does have a description of the proof of stake protocol. So,
yeah, if not the first, one of the first. And I mean, that's a game changer. Proof of stake has completely changed the crypto space.
Yeah, and of course that led them to be marketed at the time as an energy efficient cryptocurrency, because that is actually a huge advantage of proof of stake.
Yep.
They still have proof of work mining as well.
Yeah, so I guess also the first proof of stake, but also the first mixed proof of work proof of stake, because you can still mine this thing. Still mining about 66 coins per block.
Huh.
Still has pools up. Some people say one of the longest running developers in crypto.
Right.
So really, honestly, PeerCoin, it's a really good coin. Impressive to see it so kind of unaffected by most of what seems to be happening in the alt markets. And it's another one. It's not like Zcash in the sense that this is, it's pretty well distributed at this point.
You would think so.
And so you have to wonder, where's the floor?
Yeah.
But you look at a coin, it's number 26, so.
It's a big coin.
Theoretically, you look at the chart and you want to say, oh man, where's the floor on this thing? Could it go any lower? But you still look at its like absolute position and you're like, yes, it could probably go a lot lower.
Now, the question that comes to mind, I guess, then is we could compare its proof of stake interest to its yearly decline.
Oh, that's an interesting thought. I had not considered that. Is it at parity with inflation, that kind of stuff?
Right.
You'd see what you would see there if the inflation rate was exactly at parity with the decline, then you would get into a situation where you would have a flat market cap with a declining price.
But it might still fluctuate due to the price of Bitcoin. The market cap,
yeah,
that is.
That's true. Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, I honestly doubt that it is flat or keeping up with its inflation, but still a very cool coin, like Brandon said, and definitely an awesome random coin.
Yeah, absolutely. And anything's possible with PeerCoin. It seems like it's on a death slide.
It's one that I'm always going to be taking looks at here and here again. Exactly. If I find that point to buy some PeerCoin to trade, I'm definitely going to, obviously. I just tried and I failed so far.
It's one of I feel like it could like pull a vert coin, where it like does one of those fun kind of almost like Chinese style pumps where it's like, oh, here's this coin, and then all of a sudden it like stair steps up to 3 times its value, and then there's another stair step up, and then all of a sudden a huge pump and dump or whatever. That's kind of the chart that I want to see on PeerCoin. The chart I've actually seen is just a decline so far, but who knows?
But big love to PeerCoin. Our second random coin of the day is going to be Zcoin, coming in at number 149 at the time.
Yeah, Zcoin, really fun to see this one pop up again, because it's a great coin to keep up on. It's
right.
Thinking about new coins, we've had a bunch of crappy new coins. Zcoin is one of the ones that stands out.
Yep, and in our 10-week review, it was one that stood out as one of the more serious projects, most likely to last.
Yeah, and it still seems to be a pretty active coin, kind of a smaller coin, but a strong competitor to Zcash. I would say it's emerged as a clear number 2.
ZeroCoin technology versus zero cash technology.
Yeah.
It's all on the table.
Yeah, apparently there's these like competing implementations of the
what
ZeroCoin
I don't think either team has like tried to say or even imply is that it even matters which one you've implemented.
Yeah, I have not seen them like try and explain why theirs is better than the other, that's for sure.
Right. So I'm not sure. Maybe they're both just different ways of approaching a similar problem.
Yeah, I mean that conversation's probably out there somewhere.
Yeah.
But so yeah, as far as that goes, I think it's definitely a worthwhile coin for anybody to check out. Kind of some interesting news in Zcoin this week. I don't know if it's news, maybe it's just rumors.
Well, I think it just shows that, don't forget, this is altcoins, and no coin is
safe.
It's free of FUD.
Yeah.
Or some type of rumor.
Or, free from potentially being compromised or hacked or attacked,
Or just ending.
Yep, or just straight up dying.
So what was the rumor you heard?
People are saying, so there was apparently this crazy conversation in the Zcoin Slack channel where one of the devs was like, I'm quitting, I'm selling all my Zcash, I'm out of here.
Zcoin.
Yes, Zcoin, God. Well, then one of the devs was like, oh, I'm just going to sell all my Zcoin, I'm gonna get out of this. And everybody's kind of freaking out. But then it seems like nothing ever came of it. And then it kind of was revealed that maybe this guy had his Slack account hacked or something.
Oh, sure. Well, that's what I mean, exactly. There's just always such stupid crap that happens around coins for whatever reasons.
Yeah, exactly. You can never believe what you're seeing in crypto because anything can happen. So, some altcoin developer gets his Slack account compromised. Some guy's going to pop into the thread and try and FUD the coin and dunk the price. And it's like that kind of stuff can happen, and we just we don't have any way to know. It would be really funny if the guy was quitting and we didn't know because like maybe he
It's
did
like,
quit.
did you guys get my message?
Yeah, exactly. Right. No, we thought that was a hack.
I threw a tirade in Slack. Nobody caught that?
Yeah, exactly. Like you never know what's real in crypto, and that's funny. So, we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, you're going to want to keep up with that. But right now, it seems like it's just a rumor, like a kind of a not real thing.
Yeah, and market-wise, when we look at the chart, it seems to have found a little bit more of a floor than we'll compare it to Zcash at this point. They both kind of had the same trajectory at first there.
Yeah, definitely.
So, people speculating hard on the values of these new anonymous coins and still trying to find what we can actually value them at.
Yeah, originally this thing I think was in the top 100. It's down to 149 now in the coin market cap rankings. And like you said, it does look like maybe it did find a floor. If you look back just like on the 1 month chart or something, on Zcash, you're still going to see that death chart. On Zcoin, you're going to see something that looks a little more appealing. But we are early in POW, and for it to sustain this price, it's going to have to be able to grow a lot in market cap. I do think this is a good potential contender to do that. But I think this whole thing is going to be just a great lesson for us in valuing these long proof-of-work coins.
Sure.
And we'll see what happens. I really, I think Zcoin's a really interesting project, and it's one I'm going to be following.
And certainly a nice one to come up as our second random coin.
Yep, and that's going to do it for the random coins this week. Don't forget, of course, we do have that ARK interview coming up later. But first up, we are going to treat you guys to yet another week of new coins. Yep.
I mean, sometimes we're like, oh, wait, do we really have any new coins to talk about? But you know what? We still like to do it.
New coins have gone from something that used to be like a kind of a promising glimpse at the new frontier to just kind of a wade through a shit-filled pond lately. But that's part of the fun in some ways, too. I'm still having fun looking at these stupid new coins because like some of them have gotten to be the point they're so bad that they're funny. You feel like, just like, where's the floor on Zcash? You got to wonder where the floor is on new coins. Are we going to see more than one interesting launch a month? Who knows?
Who knows?
I would say it used to be like maybe 2 to 3 interesting coins a week.
At some points, for sure.
Then it kind of dropped to like maybe 1 interesting coin a week.
Yeah.
And we're definitely in the territory where it's been closer to 0 interesting coins per week.
We're up to like 3 virus posts a week.
Yes, virus is increasing. Interesting posts decreasing.
Yeah, and so people have seen kind of like the decline of Bitcoin Talk new posts approaching. We've talked about it before a bit.
Yep.
And the problem that I see though is there's nowhere else right now that's where people will go to get information about new coins.
Yeah, exactly. They have like a lot of inertia as being that first big hub, and I can't really think of a replacement for it per se. But so here we are looking at Bitcoin Talk posts.
And first up on the proof of work, proof of stake coins is Africoin.
Africoin. This is not even a new name. There was another coin called Africoin before. The dude just posted this coin and then he disappeared. Very cool.
Right.
And it's a huge pre-mine, as you might expect.
Yeah, and no source.
Yeah, so good stuff. Good stuff.
Skipping over that one, we're looking at a virus one called Jex.
JaneCoin was a virus.
A virus called Cubicore.
Yep. There's another virus called CoreCoin, too. It seems like this virus dev is just, he's really out in force the past couple of weeks.
I hope it's not working.
So yeah, these security warnings, it's definitely working, man. There was a couple people in there that downloaded it.
Really?
I don't know how much it takes for it to be worth it for him, but at any rate, the warnings, as always, apply. If you're going to run a shitcoin wallet, run it in a virtual machine. Just do it. That's all you have to do.
Right.
But anyway, and just at this point, there's so little money in new coins that you almost don't even have to worry about it. Like, don't fall for the hype, essentially.
And then we see BuyCoin.
BuyCoin, this is an SHA coin, and it's also just a big old pre-mine kind of shit coin.
UnPay.
So this one isn't exactly a pre-mine, but they did mine all of the high reward It is a pre-mine. They like mined the first 100,000 blocks and then launched it or whatever.
Easy way to go, right?
Yep. So just another crappy coin.
Career Coin was a slow mine but huge pre-mine.
Okay.
These are like someday we'll have to make a book about different types of crap coins that we won't mine, and these are definitely three of them. The big old pre-mine shitcoin.
Yep.
The already mined at launch. And the slow mine huge pre-mine.
They're just different flavors of the same
different ways for somebody to get control immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
In an unfair way, in our opinion, a bit.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. More than welcome
to a try.
Ever since the start of altcoins, developers have been racing to come up with new and more creative ways to distort the supply in their own favor. It seems like the past few months they've been pretty lazy about it and are just going with the huge pre-mine approach. But, we might see a turn. Who the hell knows?
Selen Coin?
Selen Coin. All right, so this kind of looked interesting. It's a proof-of-stake coin, and the idea is that it's going to underpin a cryptocurrency exchange, kind of like DOT does with Cryptopia.
Oh, and what, it doesn't exist yet, the exchange?
Yeah, it doesn't exist yet, but I think the coin does exist. But it's like it's 100% pre-mine POS coin, so it looks like he's just trying to sell it to people.
You get it through using the exchange, or just you have to buy it?
I think you just got to buy it from him at this point. I don't even think it's on any exchanges, so.
Prove it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't like it.
That'll do it for proof of stake coins this week.
Yep.
There was one airdrop on Bitcoin Talk this week.
Sort of.
Francoin.
Francoin.
Do you think the C's like doubled?
I don't know.
I think it's
Francoin.
Francoin. Like, hey, Franny.
Maybe I read it wrong.
Francoin. Point being, it's distributed through Facebook.
You're right, dude. It is Francoin.
And
yeah, it's like an 80% pre-mine for what's essentially a really questionable airdrop. It's going to be one of those things where like he mines 20 million coins for the airdrop and then gives people like 25 per airdrop, and just keeps the rest. Looks bad.
We'll see it listed somewhere, I bet. Or maybe not. We'll see. I personally don't like the idea of having to do something on Facebook. So
yeah, exactly. If it's an airdrop and it's like it's too annoying for me to even want to get the free coins, it's probably pretty bad.
Over in our relaunch, re-announcement, pre-announcement, and other categories, we're looking at a few different things. Inflation Coin re-announced itself, mostly just for this guy to show that he had a lot of it.
Yeah, some dude just posted his Inflation Coin wallet chock full of what is now a worthless 0-sat coin.
So we thought that was funny, but I also thought it was funny that what he showed in that wallet isn't even a fraction of what's available like at 1 and 2 Satoshis on the Obit, so good luck with that.
There were a bunch of like fork note clones. I don't know what that's all about, but I didn't dive too deep into them.
They had Cold Coin pre-announcement.
Yeah, this one looked okay. That's not a ringing endorsement, but compared to what we've been seeing, this one did at first look okay. 0% pre-mine. Not too many fake promises, not too many different or ridiculous promises, I guess. But also some kind of uninspiring words from the dev when he's like, he's having a hard time essentially getting the wallet to compile and kind of some amateurish seeming problems.
Sure.
So, yeah, that's out there.
I wonder if it'll ever become a blockchain, right?
Yeah, pre-announcements, I'd like to see pre-announcements come back as the preferred thing for proof of work coins. And so I like that this guy went with the pre-announcement, and we'll see what happens when he launches it. Probably, like you said, it's not likely.
Up next was Bullshit Coin.
Yeah, this is a funny thread.
Funny little joke thread or whatever.
Reminds me of like Rip-Off Coin.
But it's a little bit more like No Bullshit Coin than Bullshit Coin.
Yeah, exactly. He's just kind of a coin making fun of the alt game, like, hey, everybody, look how ridiculous this is, but
So it's either a joke or a pre-announcement. We'll find out. What do you think will come out, Cold Coin or Bullshit Coin?
Cold coin or bullshit coin? Sadly I got to go with neither. I'm gonna
Yeah.
guess. I'm gonna guess neither on that.
We also noticed SkyCoin out there.
All right, so this post I actually liked.
Yeah, at least I liked the ideas that they were presenting. I didn't like that it's basically a pre-announcement for an upcoming ICO because there's no way to get the coins.
Yeah, that's definitely the shittiest part. So that's, definitely takes a lot of the wind out of the sails. The cool part is that they're saying this is a new consensus algorithm. First new consensus algorithm since PureCoin is what they're saying.
Wow.
And it's based on Ben Orr's decision procedure. So that all sounds great. But the thing is that there's really no way for anybody to get it, and then they're going to do an ICO. So that's just annoying.
At some point in here, they talk about getting rewarded by providing computing power and services to the network.
Golem style.
But then I just don't see where that actually ever happens.
Yeah, totally. I get that too.
And then at the bottom, I see that you stay tuned for access to exclusive ICOs. It's like, great. But apparently they have a piece of software available for download, so I might have to give it a shot anyway, just see what happens. In a virtual box, of course, Brandon.
Yes, definitely. How do you call it an exclusive ICO when you're posting it on Bitcoin Talk? That's funny to me.
I don't know. Maybe you have to be running the software
or something. Who knows? But yeah.
The privilege of giving them money.
Yeah, exactly. The honor.
Yeah.
They do have a white paper, though, that looks better than most white papers I've seen. So
yeah.
If you like that kind of stuff, check it out. There is the promise of the new technology. And, it's like you look at all these coins that come out and you're like, is any of this going to be around in 6 months? I think SkyCoin's the most likely this week, probably.
So far, it'd be nice to hopefully talk about it again someday rather than it fade away.
Yep.
Then, of course, we have a nice little list of ICOs that were announced this week.
Yep, and we don't really like to talk about. We're not really going in depth on these ICOs anymore.
We're just glossing over them. We figure anything that's important about them will come up over time.
Yeah, and my old advice on these, I think, stands. If you want to trade an ICO coin, let it hit the market first. You're gonna have plenty of time to trade these things.
Those bonus rounds, though, Brandon.
I know the allure of the bonus round.
Collectible game cards
was announced.
Veritas.
Yep.
Branche. TitheCoin, which I thought was hilarious because it combined like 3 of my least favorite things, which were, I think, let's see, it's a counterparty asset, it's charity coin, and I swear there was one other thing. Oh, it's an ICO.
Oh, yep.
So it was like, oh, great.
3 strikes there.
Fun. GCCH coin, Lithium, Centz, Mainstreet Investment, and Edgeless.
Yep, so those are all the stupid IPOs you're going to be hearing about in troll boxes the next couple of weeks. And that's going to do it for the new coins.
Yeah, looking back through it, we're not looking at much to mine this week.
Nope, nothing.
We don't have Facebook, so we won't be participating in the airdrop. And the pre-announcements, if any of them come out, let's see it.
Yeah, if I would look up the thread for SkyCoin.
Well written, at the very least.
Yep, but otherwise I would skip all this stuff. Next, we are going to do our listings.
Yeah, looking over
listings.
at the coin listings off the bat, starting with Cryptopia. They listed JaneCoin, they listed InCoin, they listed LookCoin, and they listed CircuitCoin.
Been having a lot of fun on Cryptopia this week, man. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yep, it's great to see that increased volume and just a kind of growing community.
Yeah, and I'm not even just saying this because they were kind enough to sponsor us like really early in the show. I also have noticed there's just a lot more activity on Cryptopia, specifically in the past few weeks. And so it's funny to see alts are kind of tanking across the board. For me, Cryptopia has been like a bit of a, oasis.
Yep.
In terms of trading lately because it's been fun to do small volume trading. They've they added Pascal on there really early. That's been a really fun one. And they've just it's been really fun.
Yeah, I agree. Been great. And those are the coins they added.
Yep.
Also adding coins, we have Yobit with NodeCoin, Iconic, Coral, ARH, Blackstar, and MoneyCoin.
That's just a list of usual suspects type coins for Yobit.
Yep. C-Cex listed NavCoin.
Okay.
That's cool.
Shoring up their coins, I guess.
Yeah, I like that. I always wonder why certain exchanges don't just have all of the sort of Poloniex coins.
Yeah, exactly.
Why wouldn't put it?
If I was going to start an exchange, that's what I would start with, is just like the list of Poloniex coins.
Right. Then over on LiveCoin, they added Golos. Don't know where they found that one. And FirstCoin, which I think maybe crossed our path once, but
interesting couple of coins there that I've never heard of. LiveCoin, talking about, I was talking about Cryptopia has had an increase in volume. LiveCoin is another exchange.
LiveCoin's getting interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it's getting interesting. It's like you can actually trade there now. They're starting to see a lot more activity. I've kind of been looking at a post-Bittrex world, I guess.
Right.
Poloniex has always been, not always, Bittrex was probably the main exchange for a little while, but
we're still waiting for a Bittrex update, essentially, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're all just kind of waiting for Bittrex to do something to reclaim
I'm so tired
the
of going to that labs page and having nothing to do.
Exactly. So check out LiveCoin. Check out Cryptopia.
One coin that I wish I had for some reason kept right now is PostCoin, because it's, for some reason, somebody managed to... Do you remember they swapped?
Yeah.
And I swapped my coins over.
Yeah, they swapped over to the
And then the
XAP.
altcoinboard.com disappeared entirely.
And the original PostCoin.
Yeah, well, it's been receiving a pretty steady LiveCoin pump. Too much for me to possibly consider buying back in.
Oh my God,
but
that's hilarious.
I was like, oh man, I can't believe I didn't keep my PostCoin.
So yeah, there's a surprising amount going on at LiveCoin. It's newer. It's newer than Cryptopia, at least. So, you got to be a little more cautious, I guess, in that regard.
And then there's CoinExchange.io listing Faircoin.
Yeah, they've been doing good too.
That one rings a bell too.
I've been trading a little bit on CoinExchange, trying to dump that IOE shitcoin that I mined a bunch of.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the going is on for the listings.
Looking back through the listings, everything's looking good, but nothing's like standing out, honestly.
Yeah, nothing exciting for me on this list.
Just nice to see coins being listed.
True that. So that does it for the listings, and I think we are now going to get to the long-awaited interview with ARK.
Yeah, we'll just roll it, and we'll be back to you in a minute or two. I am Woody.
My name is Brandon Doge.
And here today we have with us Mike Dottie and Matthew DC of the ARK Project. Hey, guys.
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, thanks for having us.
We're doing great. We're really happy that you guys were able to join us today. And we thought we would just kind of start off by having you guys introduce yourself and tell us about your positions with ARK.
Mike, you can go ahead and go first.
Okay, well, I'm Mike Doty. I'm the managing director overseeing the project. And so I work on managing the team, making sure things get done, connecting everybody, and working with the community, bringing new people on board.
Great.
And we'll pass it on to Matt here.
Hey guys, I'm Matthew Cox. Because of my last name, that's why I go by DC. I am a board member for ARK. I do a bunch of different roles. So I write a lot of the blog posts, I do some of the documentation, I help form some of the strategic message, and just kind of work with the guys behind the scenes to make sure everybody's on the same page and that we're putting out the right stuff.
Great. And again, thanks for being here, guys. And when we look at the ARK team, there's quite a few people there. Is there anyone else on the team you could kind of tell us about, or, VIPs, so to speak, or what's going on there?
Yeah, so Francois Xavier Thorin is our lead developer. He's very good at it, brilliant guy. He seems to come up with a new idea and have it on the testnet within a few hours. And so he is working on the DPoS, delegated proof of stake algorithm, as well as added some new features to eliminate forks and improve the block speed. And then we have Lars who is our financial manager and planner. He's been making sure we don't run out of money with the funds that we've been using so far. Then we have Rock, and he is the webmaster and has put together a lot of the graphics that we have.
Awesome.
So those are some of the team members. It take a long time to go through all 30.
Right. Yeah.
No, that's a great summary. Thank you.
Yeah, and in regards to the ARK project, we figured we'd just start with what looks like probably one of the, I guess, largest, most ambitious features of it is the bridge blockchains, or the smart bridges, as they're called. And of course, we want to know more about those and how you vision different blockchains like Ethereum or Lisk interacting.
Yes. So we have this extra field in the transaction, call it a vendor field. And with Smart Bridge, the side chains, we call them bridge chains, can store data right to that field, and then they can respond to it. So with triggers. So they listen for particular data that's addressed to that side chain in the main chain. Then using that, then the side chain can then execute an action based on what it sees in that vendor field in the main chain. Yeah, so this ties a lot of different chains all together. They can communicate with each other via the main chain. It can also be used for securing side chains. That a side chain can store a hash value in that vendor field and then compare it later on to make sure it's still a valid chain, that it hasn't been compromised.
So would there have to be like a kind of acknowledgement by the node on the other side? Like, would they have to make changes to their software to be able to interact with the smart bridge? Like, with the Lisk chain, would there be something that would have to be implemented, like at the core level on the Lisk chain, or maybe something at the node level that allows people to connect to those bridges?
Yeah, so either the core can add smart bridge functionality to it, so then it can write data to the main chain in the vendor field and also read it and watch it for the listeners in order to see if it needs to take an action. Another way is to have an intermediate bridging chain that would bridge an existing chain, say if it were Bitcoin or Ethereum, to the main chain, so that instead of changing the core of that main chain, you would have another bridging chain between the two, so that it could interface, read transactions on one chain and then transfer them to the other. So there's a couple of options there.
As far as the end user experience, I guess, if I'm somebody that wants to queue up a smart contract on the Lisk chain or something, am I going to be interacting with like an interface that the core developers have built, or will there be like modules where third parties will maybe create the interface to deal with the different blockchains?
ARK could run as a blockchain application on Lisk. So in that case, see, because Lisk is really meant to run these blockchain applications. They used to be called dApps. And those are also like side chains, which are tied into the main chain. And the difference with them is that they have an address on the main chain and they can send and receive Lisk via that main chain. Whereas with ARK, we're only storing data on the main chain, but we're not sending ARK to and from different side chains. So to answer your question, then we would have ARK run as a blockchain application connected to Lisk, so that it would interact with it, but it would not in itself have an address on the Lisk chain. It would have another a module, a relay that would connect the two.
Cool. And so the reason we mentioned Lisk was only because it looked like that was one of the first chains you guys were planning on bridging. What are some other ones that you're looking at?
We're looking at Ethereum and Bitcoin. So that, of course, because those are the two largest chains, so that we can connect the two. And so we can connect like smart contracts with Ethereum to send and receive Bitcoin via another bridged chain. Also, we're integrating IPFS, distributed storage, into ARK. So then Ethereum would be able, smart contracts would be able to access via ARK IPFS storage. And the advantage of that is that within Ethereum, every contract right now has to run on every node in the system. Whereas with ARK, they run on side chains. So all we do with the main chain is store that data, that vendor field. So you can put an IPFS address onto that vendor field and use it to access data that's then stored on a separate distributed storage chain and access it that way. But the main chain itself of ARK isn't being bloated by all this extra data and transactions other than just that address.
Yeah, that's definitely cool because you can imagine with the more chains that you'll eventually be able to integrate with, being able to do that without kind of affecting the bloat on the main chain is going to be a huge advantage.
Right. And a number of different projects are doing that. And our focus, though, is to make it as lean as possible, to have as little bloat as possible, and keep it simplified so that it's faster, more reliable. So we expect to be the first functioning system out there that can handle this reliably.
Yeah, one of the things that we noticed looking at just the general coin specs is that you're going for an 8-second block time, which is really ambitious, and so obviously it's good to hear that there's been a focus on trying to keep the chain lean and efficient. We also we're interested in the proof of stake system. You guys are going with the delegated proof of stake, and we're wondering if you could just kind of give us a brief description and maybe explain why you chose that consensus system.
Yes, would you like to speak on that, Matt?
Yeah, sure. Sorry if you hear my kids in the background, but yeah, they're back there. So DPoS, we kind of have a long history with delegated proof of stake. Mike and I are both co-founders of Crypty, and so we worked there for a long time together, and we sort of developed the initial piece, which is the JavaScript version of DPoS that is now in Lisk and also in ARK. So part of it was familiarity with the system, and also because our lead developer had done some development for Lisk in the past, and so he was also very familiar with the code for Lisk DPoS. So the time to market was a lot faster as far as an MVP goes. It was a good system to work with, and we were familiar with it and kind of knew its boundaries and where it needed improvements. So that was part of the reason we decided to go with that one specifically. I'm a big proponent of the idea of this decentralized republic concept, so I find it very intriguing. And so a lot of it for me is trying to develop a governance system decentralized that works better than something like just mining. You do still have some of the same issues with money buys power, but I feel like you can minimize that a little bit. So for me, it's more a sense of just DPoS is kind of different. It's a little more modern and I think a little more future-proof, but it does have some issues still, and we're working through those and kind of making improvements as we go to the core code. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Nice. Sounds good.
Yeah, and so related to the distribution of the coin, which leads to the proof of stake, can you tell us a little bit about the ongoing crowd sale? And we were also curious, I guess, just why you were accepting Lisk and had a cap on Lisk as well.
I'll take that one. So, or at least part of it. So our team has an interesting history in the way that we came together, and that is that the majority of the people that joined ARK as founding members met in Lisk forums during the ICO phase for Lisk and during the testnet and some other portions of their growth period. So a lot of us met in those channels, and a lot of people hold a considerable amount of Lisk. we see that they have a bright future, and we think that there's huge growth potential there over the next year to 2 years. I mean, they have $10 million they haven't even touched yet as far as development goes. And not only that, but our system and its core is kind of tied to them as well, in that, improvements they make or improvements we make help each other. So there's a symbiotic relationship there, and I think that we believe in them strongly and their future, and so we saw it as a way to get in the door without having to flood the market and buy a whole bunch and raise the price like crazy, but get a good base of diversification in funds that we think have huge growth potential. I don't think we saw such a disparity between the amount of BTC and LISC that we would raise, but at this point, we do, believe that they have a strong future and that there's huge growth potential there. So for us, that was kind of part of the equation for the bonus.
All right, cool.
Yeah, makes sense. We were also curious about Apollo, the first target on the roadmap. Could we get a little bit of a description of that?
Okay, so our first milestone is the release of mainnet, and that will have the PBFT, Practical Byzantine Fault Tolerance functionality added to it, the new voting system. The voting system we're going to is, instead of one ARK voting for up to 101 different delegates, where ARK is 51, one ARK only votes for one delegate. Or if it votes for more than one delegate, that vote is divided. So if you voted for 50 delegates, then each would receive 1/50th of an ARK in that account. And we're doing that in order to have more decentralization, to prevent one large holder or like a group of large holders exchanging votes and taking over all of the delegates. So that's the biggest change for the mainnet. And then we're also the forging from uncles, in which if a block is missing, then it can borrow a block, so to speak, from that hasn't been fully confirmed yet, and use that as the preceding block so that it can still create the next block in the chain. So the idea is that the PBFT reduces the forking, and it seems to have eliminated it so far. Testnet, it's running great. No missed blocks, no forks, and the delegates that are running on it right now. And then the forging from uncles is to decrease the latency so we can go to even faster block times. We think we'll be able to get it down to even 5-second block time. And do you have anything else you'd like to add on that, Matt?
No, yeah, our first Apollo is really about solidifying the core. So for us, there's several factors that go into that. That is stability. We want it to be, forkless in a sense. So the technology it's built on, Crypty, it had problems with forking during, vote swaps and huge transaction volume and some other things. So that's pretty much been eliminated. The other thing is we want to try to get block times down and transaction throughput up. Those are our big focuses right now, is getting that core network, fast and streamlined, bloatless, and as good as we can get it, and get it solid before we start building the use cases and other things like the smart bridge to other chains. We want to make sure ours can handle the volume and other things that it's going to see. So Apollo is really about getting that core piece down. And like he said, 8-second block times is the goal for mainnet, but we think maybe eventually we can hit 5 seconds because we're streamlining it so much for those transactions. So that's kind of our big push for the first major release, is just getting the core network solid and the speeds and everything down.
Awesome. That sounds great, especially with, we've seen the prevalence of security issues in some other chains and, people exploiting DOS and that kind of stuff. And so obviously seeing that focus on a new chain is really refreshing. As far as we were checking out the distribution, and we noticed that of the total, 7% goes to something called ARK Shield. Can you describe what ARK Shield is a little bit?
Yeah, so ARK Shield is a reserve fund, which we can use for future development in the future. So it's to build a long-term continuing source of revenue that we can use. So after the initial funding, when it runs out, then with the ARK that we have in ARK Shield, we can continue on and use that to continue indefinitely.
Gotcha. And so right now you guys are building the community up, and where can people go to kind of start getting involved with that?
Yeah, our website is ark.io. That's ARK period IO. That's the website. And we have a Slack as well, a public Slack that is ARK Ecosystem. And on the website, ark.io, it has all the information and links to our different channels. We also have forum.ark.io, which is our public forum for posting delegate proposals, new information of a more permanent nature. Then we also have a blog site that has new releases, announcements. That's blog.ark.io. And also, did want to go back to what we were discussing earlier as far as the goals of Apollo. Another thing that we're adding is relay nodes to handle network congestion and traffic. So we're isolating the delegates which create the consensus in the blockchain from the network traffic through a series of relay nodes that are attached to the delegate nodes. That's where we achieve the scalability, so that as the network volume increases, that these relay nodes can also be scaled up to match. Since the blockchain, the consensus network is separated from the interface to the rest of the network.
Just for anybody listening, we have two roadblocks before Apollo. I just went and double checked because I couldn't remember if I was wrong or not. But we have Atlas and Atlantis, which are actually like the core mainnet launch. Apollo will be Q2 of 2017, which is when we start talking about the card network. So just to clear that up, if somebody goes to the website.
Yeah, thanks. We called it the wrong thing there. Yeah, Atlas is number 1 on the roadmap.
Yes, and Apollo, after the mainnet launch, Apollo is where we have a full smart bridge functionality as well.
Okay, and is there anything else that either of you would like to let the listeners know?
No, just come join us in our Slack and get to know us. And I think you guys will like us. We're there all the time. We have 30 members of our team, so there's always somebody there to talk to, and we'd love to have you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. This is a huge project. We only get to scratch the surface of it, so definitely check out more at ark.io. A huge thanks to you, Mike and Matt.
Thanks, Woody. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it.
All right. That was our interview with ark.io.
Yep, and they've actually since wrapped up the ICO since we recorded that a few days ago. They raised, here's the numbers, final numbers, ARK ICO, 212 Bitcoins.
Okay.
6 million LISK.
Dang.
So that's worth about 1,200 Bitcoins total.
So people taking advantage of that 70% LISK bonus.
Yeah, exactly. Mostly in LISK there. Pretty funny. But yeah, good luck to the ARK crew. And
yeah, definitely an interesting project, and hopefully one that we'll be getting more news about in the future.
Yeah, I'm just I'm going to love to see kind of what technology they end up bringing to the scene.
Yeah.
Next up, we're going to jump into our coin birthdays. We always love to close it out with the birthdays.
Yeah, we love birthdays, and right here on our 2-year list, we have BuyCoin.
This one, I can't get over it. BuyCoin? We really got BuyCoin. BuyCoin was launched apparently on December 11th, 2014.
You ask yourself, does BuyCoin deserve a birthday? Well, it's being traded on Yobit still.
Yeah, usually we only do coins that are still alive. I don't know if BuyCoin really counts as alive still, but it's on Yobit, like you said, and it still has like a surprisingly high market cap. Let me.
Did you ever own any BuyCoin?
I never did. I never touched
neither,
it,
actually. Which
I, in some ways, regret because apparently miners made bank on it. I heard.
Right.
But I never did even mine it. I never touched Ga miners or any of there.
But a super special second birthday to Cryptopia.
Yeah, of course, Cryptopia launched December 13th, 2014.
Awesome.
That's 2 years for them. So we've really loved working with the Cryptopia guys, and huge birthday.
Awesome. Hopefully many more.
Happy birthday.
On the 3-year birthdays, LockCoin.
LockCoin. This is cool. This is cool, man. Another coin. I think this one is actually only traded on Cryptopia at this point. It's one of those. We were talking about the Cryptsy coins,
Right.
This is one of those ones that's just has only survived on Cryptopia. I think it has a big market cap too, actually. Kind of big. I say that with like air quotes.
Right.
26,000.
I don't think I know anything about LocoCoin. I did look up a little bit and saw that it has some random super blocks every day.
Oh, nice.
So it has like a daily giant block and a couple smaller blocks and, other various ones.
Nice.
And there's a tiny bit of support like on the Litecoin market. So for people that are hitting those blocks, I don't know, maybe they're getting $4 or $5, but it seems odd that it's managed to sustain any type of market for this long, honestly. 3 years, pretty cool.
Yeah, there's some coins where it's like all the people who are going to sell have sold.
Well, that would be the best thing about this coin, would be selling it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just hitting that super block.
That's true. I wonder what the mining is like. I wonder if does it still mine?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can still hit super blocks to this
Correct.
day? That's
Yes.
funny.
Yes.
That's funny. Okay.
Yep, every day. Every day they give away multiple types of super blocks, including some pretty large ones.
Wonder what's the algorithm?
Large relatively, I mean. It's
Right.
like I did look at the time how much it was dollar-wise, and I can't remember anymore.
All right. Well, happy birthday to LocoCoin.
Happy birthday, LocoCoin.
I'd
3
say,
years.
They're killing it.
Do it.
Okay. I think that's going to do it for the show this week. We want to remind you to please go to blockchaindynamics.net, check out the Wolong Awards, toss some votes in there, toss
Give us
some nominations.
Yeah.
It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be a lot of fun. Just do it.
We are brought to you by cryptopia.co.nz.
Can't forget Cryptopia. Check out the forums. Pop on down to the altcoin section. That's where we hang out. Post in our thread. We will toss you a bunch of dots, and that's cool. And also don't forget to check out some of their sweet new features like Mineshaft and
Paytopia.
Yep.
So, that's going to do it for Blockchain Dynamics, episode number 42.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Peace.
See you next week with more bags.
Currency. Like a couple Bitcoins. Pull up on my Nakamoto.